Yeah, a little elbow. I don't know if it was the elbow or helmet or the ground, but lost some feeling in my hand. Just hit the funny bone nerve and went to throw the ball and just had no feeling in the hand. So it's a tough one.
So you had that a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah, on the left one. Yeah, funny bones.
I know we say it all the time. You've been playing here for 7 years, but how cold was it out there today for you?
It was pretty cold. It's nothing that we haven't experienced before. But you got to find a way. It's cold for them too.
Josh,
Listen, for the people who know, it was 8 degrees. It was 8 degrees, and obviously the wind hits you. You feel that wind chill come in, and it gets colder than obviously what's showing on the thermometer. But it was pretty cold, and obviously we know that definitely played a big part as far as people catching the ball and people dropping the ball and trying to make a play with it, and especially with Josh Allen having the hand issues that he already is. I can only imagine as far as how that would affect his playing with the situation. But we'll keep going.
Did that feeling return to your hand, or how did you feel comfortable going back out there?
Yeah, I mean, it took a good 5 to 10 minutes of just making sure, trying to get some blood flow back in there and some activation. When it's cold like that too, the more you leave it out, the whole hand gets. So it was a weird feeling. Just glad it's gone now.
James cooked 100 yards. How much did that 46-yarder sort of spark the entire sideline?
No, it was huge. It was huge. He's been so good for us this year, and he's been running the ball extremely hard. That was huge for us.
What did New England do today to make things kind of difficult for you out there?
Yeah, they played a lot of man. They came up. They got their hands on. They were, undercutting some of our crossing routes, and that's something we'll look at and try to get some counters to. But I mean, that's a better team than their record shows. And these division games are tough. It's someone that we're used to, and they've seen us quite a bit over the last few years, and they came out ready to play today.
Josh was.
So my problem with that, though, is this. When you say this is a team that knows us and that's, seen us for the last few years, I'm thinking Bill Belichick. I'm thinking Tom Brady. I'm not thinking, Drake May, the rookie coming into Highmark Stadium and putting on a show and leading these Patriots to a 14-0 start early on in the first half. And so I get why he's saying that, because, yes, we know that divisional rival games matter and they're wildly different from what you may expect. But I do think that, the defense is going to be the biggest question mark coming into this game. Not the expectation of what the Patriots offense would do, but what the Bills defense would allow them to do.
Was there any doubt that you would go back in the game during that time when Mitch was warming up, when you were shaking your hand out a good bit on the sideline? Just take us through that time.
Yeah, just depending on when we got the ball back. Fortunately, it was a longer drive where I was able to get some feeling and sensation back in the hand. But if we got a sudden change, I probably wouldn't have been out there.
Can we assume that the blooper ball, that was right after you got hurt, right? Was that, or did the ball just slip out of your hand on that?
No, it was the play after. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, the play after. We can assume that that's what the problem was there?
Yes. Yeah, it was more so I had no feeling in the hand. Okay. Yeah. It's hard to throw without feeling in your hand.
That's why you tried.
Some of these questions, yeah.
Could have called a timeout, but hindsight.
Josh, you guys have just, scored more than 30 points in every game since October 14th. When the offense isn't clicking, is it almost a surprise and maybe takes a little bit longer to kind of get back into that rhythm?
We got to find a way. Got to come out in the first half ready to play, and I don't think that's something that we did great today. Missed some opportunities. Wish I had a few back. That's every game, but glad that our defense and our special teams could step up. They scored on defense, obviously, and we won the turnover battle again, and it's complimentary football, and our defense had our back today.
Talk about.
Well, sure. Defense had your back. They did make some significant stops, but I would attribute that to the fact that Drake May made those mistakes and allowed the defense to capitalize off of them. I wouldn't say it was forced. And so it brings into the question of, okay, we understand that the last 2 games, obviously before this one, you guys were putting up close to 50, if not 50 points. And so coming into a divisional rival match in your home, you basically only won by 3 against the Patriots. And so, this is arguably probably one of the worst teams in the NFL right now, barring maybe the Bears. Sorry, Bears fans. So, I look at this with two issues. I look at this with the issue of, okay, Josh Allen has a hand injury that is definitely need to be looked at. I don't think he needs to play the last 2 games. I think you let him sit, you let him rest, you get that hand ready, you bring in Mitch Trubisky. And I think obviously, you let that play out how it does, because regardless of what happens, I don't think seeding matters at this point. I think you should be well mentally and ready to go when it comes to going out to Arrowhead and defeating Kansas City if you're going to head to the Super Bowl. I think that's the reality. Yes, it would be a little beneficial to obviously have them come to your backyard. It may even, possibly be better for you because you obviously have your atmosphere and that ambience. But I will say this, I think it's more meaningful for the Bills to go out to Arrowhead and beat the Chiefs at their own space and go that route. Now, on the flip side, there's a lot of talk about the MVP situation. And I said this before. I said that people would kind of shift their feelings towards Josh Allen in the MVP if he started to kind of wind down towards the end or maybe not play as explosive. And I think the loss with the Rams kind of made that happen because, as we've seen over the last couple of weeks, now the conversation has shifted over to Lamar Jackson when it comes to the MVP. Now, I'm going to say this, and some people may agree with me and some may not. I'm going to say this. As much as I know that Josh Allen deserves the MVP, I don't think he should get it. And the reason for that is I don't want him to become complacent because of that. I want him to still have that hunger, have that fight, have that energy to move on to get to the Super Bowl. And I think not getting the MVP will give him that much more motivation to go out and show the world exactly how great he is and bring home that Lombardi. But with that said, obviously, as far as the schedule goes, you've got the Jets coming up. You've got the Patriots that's going to be flexed. And then, if we're looking at, obviously, the playoff, as it stands, Denver, 7th seed, Bills, 2nd seed. It's just where it is right now. This obviously can potentially change with the last 2 weeks. So, we'll digest and we'll talk about it. Let me know how you guys feel about the MVP situation with Josh Allen. Drop it down in the comments. Make sure you hit that like and, of course, subscribe. See you guys later. Peace out.